Portions of the Mike Gallagher Show are sponsored by Americans for Prosperity because we believe at AFP. We appreciate them, and we are always, always honored to share with you this terrific agenda of this grassroots organization that is making a difference. Kent Strang oversees AFP's federal strategies and manages a team focused on policy reform. So we got to get a policy guy in here, Kent Strang. Welcome back. Policy. Voterama is underway. We got the big, beautiful bill. There's debate, there's controversy, there's drama. I had to get AFP's perspective on this. Great having you back, Kent. How are you?
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Mike.
You bet. Give us a breakdown of what happened over the weekend to advance this legislation, because a lot of people don't understand it. I saw a lot of posts on social media. Oh, good. The Senate voted 51-49 to pass the big, beautiful bill. There's a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of deceit, frankly, about Medicaid cuts because, of course, the Democrats are back to pushing Granny over the cliff in a wheelchair. So give me your perspective on where it went this weekend and where we're headed.
So over the weekend, the Senate had to pass what's called a motion to proceed. This is essentially a procedural vote to get it on to the full Senate. So what they did is they needed 50 votes, and that's why Vice President Vance was waiting in the wings in Thune's office in case he needed to break a tie. And now what they're going through is then Griller-in-Chief Chuck Schumer used a procedural measure that required them to read the entire bill. Then it goes up to 20 hours of debate. And now we're where we are at this moment, where we are in voterama. And this is essentially another opportunity for various members to provide amendments to the bill. You'll see the left use this as a mechanism to try to trick the right into voting for bad things that you can use for campaign speeches. And then once that process is over, it's time for them to take a full vote on the one big, beautiful bill. That's where we are right now. Voterama started just a few minutes ago.
Now, the debate among conservatives and a lot of us who, of course, are dreading additional spending or adding to the deficit, we get that. We understand this isn't perfect. This is the way the sausage is made. I mean, you got to strike deals, and unfortunately, I think it's virtually impossible to advance this kind of massive legislation without increasing the deficit. We have a spending problem, and Americans for Prosperity has been all about that. You guys have been brilliant at highlighting that and what to do about it. What steps can Congress take to ensure a fiscally responsible agenda? Because that's a major challenge, Kent.
It's a major challenge, and certainly America has a spending problem that we need to get right. What we need to do is find as many aligned offsets as we can in this bill. One area where the Senate can make those cuts, and that they've looked to make those cuts, is through ending Biden's Green New Energy scam, the EV credits that were billions of dollars in wasteful spending. That's one area. They're finding the waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicaid, or at least they're trying to make sure that we can pay for pro-growth policies like tax cuts. And so they have a very slim margins in the House and in the Senate. And so the things that upset the moderates are the things that upset the conservatives, and trying to weave that process to ensure that we get pro-growth tax reform. But what they can do outside of this is, we didn't get into this mess in one bill, and we're not going to get out of this mess in one bill. Congress should take up additional spending cuts. They can do that through the rescissions package that we're seeing from the White House and the work that DOJ did. It's certainly not an end. We have to continue to cut wasteful spending, the waste, fraud, and abuse in our government.
And there is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse with Medicaid. And I know that, I get it. I get that Democrats are going to seize on it and say that, I saw an ad last night on Fox News, of all places, showing a hypothetical family saying, oh, we got to put mom in a nursing home, but we can't find one because Medicaid cuts. It's insane. There's a lot of misinformation. I saw Mark Wayne Mullen showed the statistic about all the tens of millions of able-bodied Americans who are collecting Medicaid. But that's a particular unique challenge, isn't it? That you're going to have to we have to defend Medicaid cuts, but also thwarting the narrative that we're going to throw Granny off the cliff.
Right. Medicaid is certainly at the center of this debate, but let's think about what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. What makes sense is that we have important social safety nets for single mothers who have children that need Medicaid. What we don't need, as you mentioned, is able-bodied men who can go out and contribute to society collecting from Medicaid. What we don't need is folks who are non-American citizens collecting Medicaid. We had a huge expansion of Medicaid thanks to Obamacare, and now we're seeing how that's impacting our spending. If we want to maintain and protect this important program for the future, we have to get people off of it who are abusing it, get the fraud out of it, and make sure that it's helping those who actually need it.
We're visiting with Kent Strang, Managing Director for Americans for Prosperity, and a very important organization. You need to go to protectprosperity.com and be a part of the great work that AFP is all about. And that's fundamentally what they are as grassroots, Americans who are fighting hard for this country, who love our country. I don't want to gloat, but there have been so many fiscal successes already. Maybe you saw this morning at Axios, the S&P 500 was on track to hit a new record Friday. Trump announced the termination of trade talks with Canada. Canada backed off. Within an hour, investors decided not to care. Stocks closed at an all-time high for the first time since February. I mean, Wall Street, they argue, Kent, is largely post-tariff. The market is a forward-looking machine. It's already priced in better than expected trade deals before they're even signed. And this is what I mean about, I know it sounds sycophantic, but I'm going to say it anyway. Trust Trump. He's always 3 steps ahead, it seems. He's playing 3D chess. But the truth is, expectations are building that this big, beautiful bill is going to advance and improve our economy, not hurt it. What's going to happen if it passes? What do you think happens if it fails?
Absolutely. Well, Americans love a comeback story like Rocky, and that's where we are with this economy right now. Let's remember, why are we in this mess? Joe Biden and his allies in Congress wasted $5.5 trillion in green new energy scams. They overcooked our economy, and that led to Bidenomics, massive inflation, costing the average American family $11,400 more. This administration and Republicans in Congress are righting those wrongs. Not only have you seen the growth in the S&P and other important economic indicators, but passing the one big, beautiful bill provides certainty and provides permanence. It allows companies to invest in their businesses with some of the pro-growth provisions. It allows families to ensure that they have what they need in child tax credits and what they have in ensuring that they can grow their family. And so what we need to do is we need to pass the one big, beautiful bill immediately. And if we fail to do that, it will result in the largest tax hike in American history, and that will absolutely decimate our economy.
Across the board, and you can't overstate that, I think. I mean, you know, you look at what's happening right now in New York City with the potential of this Mamdani getting elected. He wants to tax people even more burdensome who are financially successful. And Wall Street's panicking about New York. It's the financial center of the world. He is on record as saying there shouldn't be billionaires. I just love that mindset. There shouldn't, but what happens to billionaires? They shouldn't exist. Do we put them on an island somewhere? Do we try to erase them? Do we just? But look, the guy has got a true Marxist ideology of the redistribution of wealth, and this is kind of what the country is up against, right, Kent?
That's right. And we know those policies don't work. We saw it over the 4 years of Bidenomics. The policies of Bernie Sanders and AOC and the far left make people's pocketbooks be slimmer. It costs them more money. They don't actually help people. What helps people is lower taxes, more freedom, more opportunity. That's what America is built on. That is the American dream, not the far left progressive policies that make life unaffordable.
We're so grateful for the work you're doing, Kent. Keep it up. Keep fighting the good fight. Again, I hope everybody goes to protectprosperity.com. You can take action. The time to be on the sidelines is gone. You got to be a warrior. You've got to be active. And Americans for Prosperity is one of the splendid ways that you can do your part as an American. Again, go to protectprosperity.com. Protectprosperity.com. Kent Strang, always great to see you. Come back and visit with us again, okay?
Anytime. Thank you, Mike.